Well, welcome everybody. I want to say greetings and welcome you to the Exceptional Person Online class. My name is Glenn Killian and I am the instructor for this class. And for many of you, this is a return for you. You've had me before for either face-to-face or online classes, but for some of you, this may be your first time taking a class with me. And I want to just say welcome to you here at the start of the semester. And wanted to just post this video, this orientation and welcome video, as a way to just kind of welcome you, to kind of get us situated and oriented, to highlight a few things out of the syllabus and just make sure that we get off on a great start. But overall, regardless of what brings you to this class, I want to say welcome to you. And let me just kind of hit a few high points. So one of the things that's very, very common with this class is this is probably the only class that we teach in our program where I get this question either before someone comes into the class or when they're considering registering for the class. Here's the question. The question is, what is the class about? The Exceptional Person is, of course, the title of this class. And sometimes when you sign up for counseling theories or abnormal behavior or dynamics of group counseling, the title kind of tells you, maybe even before you get there, what you can expect and what the class is about. But this class sometimes raises question marks sometimes in people's minds about, well, what are we talking about? What is this class about? So this class is a social work or social services elective class, and it's got the word exceptional in it. And the word exceptional is a term that we use in our culture, in our society, and in our field of social services today to really refer to a broad category or population of people that we often serve in the social services system. Sometimes we use the term special needs, or we use the term disabilities, or we use the term handicaps. And those are terms that kind of fit with the term exceptional. And in your first couple of modules that you're going to start working on next week, we're going to talk some more about those terminologies, disabilities and disorders, the term special need, the term handicap, the term exceptional. So this is a class that really is about talking about what we sometimes refer to as a hidden population in the social services field. Let me tell you what I mean by that. So in the social services field, you know that we work with a range of different types of clients. We work with kids, with adults, with the elderly. We work with couples. There are some populations in the social services field that are just much more visible. So if I were to ask you today to start naming some of the different types of clients that we work with in social services, you would say mental health, clients struggling with mental health issues. You might say couples and marriage issues or domestic violence, or you might say substance abuse or addiction. You might go on and talk about other populations. But it would probably take us a little while before someone would have mentioned people with developmental disabilities like autism or learning disabilities. We oftentimes don't think about that as a part of the social services system. People with physical handicaps or people with sensory disabilities or impairments, like someone who has low vision or is blind, or someone who is hard of hearing or who is deaf. We may not think about people with physical handicaps. Maybe they have a spinal cord injury or they've experienced a traumatic brain injury, or maybe they have muscular dystrophy or spinal bifida, or maybe cerebral palsy. Those types of needs are very prevalent and growing in our culture and our society, and we serve those types of clients and people in social services, doing advocacy, case management, counseling, social work, that kind of thing. A huge part of the social services field, but we often don't think about it. And that's why I'm glad we have a class like this in our program, because it kind of raises our awareness of this large and growing field in the social services system. Clients, children, adults with special needs, handicaps, or disabilities. That's what the class basically is about. And so I hope that you are ready for a great semester. I hope you have an interest in this topic, in working with people basically with special needs. And so let me just kind of talk you through and say something to you. It was a couple of highlights out of our class syllabus, now that we've kind of talked about what is the class basically about. So here's the first thing. Many of you have taken online classes before. Some of you have been with me in online classes, but especially if this is your first time in an online class, I want to encourage you. The first thing I want you to do, if you've not already done it, is I want you to go into the table of contents in our classroom and find the class syllabus. The class syllabus looks like this. It's green and is the kind of the color for the syllabus. And so I've just got sort of a copy of it here for you to go and find it. And as is the case with any class, even a face-to-face on-campus class, the syllabus is really our guide. and it really is going to give you the overview and the outline, the guidelines for our class. Everything from due dates to policies to instructions, all of that, as is the case in any class. So I want to make sure that you go, and I want you to look at the syllabus. On the very, very front page, you're going to see our course calendar, page 1 and page 2 of the syllabus. And one of the things you're going to see is that there are 11 learning modules that start this week. This week, I have created for you what's called an opening week module. And the opening week module is just really just sort of that introduction kind of lesson that really what I want to, as a way to kind of get us eased into our classroom. And this week, your module basically is, I want you to complete a discussion question. So I've got a discussion question posted for you. Many of you are veterans of online classes. You're familiar with the use of discussion questions. So we have one in this class. It's this very first week. And I just want you to spend some time sharing with me and with the rest of the class a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your experience, personal or indirect or direct, with people who have special needs, handicaps, disabilities, or whatever it may be. You'll see the instructions in there on the discussion question. And I want you to post that discussion question by the end of this week, the end of the day on Sunday, midnight, 11:59 p.m. on Sunday. And you're going to get kind of used to that being kind of the deadline for almost everything in our class. At the end of the day, 11:59 p.m. on Sunday. And that starts this week. At the end of this week on Sunday, you have that discussion posting ready. And I give you some other instructions of some other things that I want you to do. So that's kind of our first module. Starting next week with module number 1, we have 10 modules, and every single week we're going to take a different part of the exceptional person population. The first couple of modules is going to be more introduction and discussion and overview. And then with module 3, we're going to get busy talking about learning disabilities. And we're going to talk about autism spectrum disorder and intellectual disabilities. And we're going to talk about traumatic brain injury and spinal cord injury. We're going to talk about physical handicaps. We're going to talk about the exceptionally gifted and talented. And then at the end of the semester, we're going to have a week where we talk about families and some of the unique opportunities and challenges that oftentimes families face when it comes to having someone with a special need as a member of their family. So good overview, lots of good stuff that we're going to talk about. I love teaching this class. I sometimes get picked on from students. Maybe you've heard me say this before. Usually on the first day, like today of our class, I get picked on because sometimes I say, this is one of my favorite classes to teach. And I basically said that about every single class in our program, including this one. This one is especially a class that I really enjoy teaching because, again, it's something that we don't oftentimes think a lot about in the social services field. So it's part of why I like this class. So you'll see that starting next week, we're going to start taking these individual modules. The modules open on Monday morning, and you have all week until the end of the day, the following Sunday, to go in and to review PowerPoint presentations that I posted for you, to review some little mini lecture videos like you're looking at right now. I've got some pages I've created of lecture notes, of some video links that you can look at, some videos, a couple of case studies along the way for you to review and to look at, some news articles I'm going to put up for you. And at the end of the module, you have a written homework assignment. So with every single module, starting with next week's module, module 1, you have about a 10 to 15 question homework assignment that I'll post for you. And that's kind of what you're going to do every single week. So there's 10 modules. With talking about specifically the populations in this class. So there's 10 different homework assignments. The questions out of the homework assignments come out of the lecture notes and the textbook. I'll talk more about the textbook here in just a second as well too. So that's kind of how the class is organized, is we have these weekly modules that take us all the way into the middle part of April. Along the way, you're also going to do 3 other written assignments and 3 quizzes. So first, we're going to talk about quizzes first. So if you look in the syllabus, you're going to see the dates for the quizzes. So the quizzes obviously are online. I'll post for you a little study outline before we do each quiz. Each quiz is going to cover about 2 or 3 of the modules, and you'll see the dates listed in the syllabus. You'll see that the quizzes always open at noon and close at midnight on specific days. And so make sure you get those days down into your calendar. And one of the things I always highlight with the quizzes, again, many of you have been with me before in online classes, so you're familiar with this. One of the things I highlight with the quizzes is this. Just make sure you don't miss this. I do not allow makeups of any missed quizzes. So there's 3 different quizzes, and if you want to avoid a 0 on any of the quizzes, which I know you do, you have to take the quiz while the quiz is open. Once it closes at 11:59 on whatever date it closes on, the quiz is gone, it's locked, and it doesn't come back. So if you're going to take, so if you want to avoid a 0 on any of the quizzes, you have to take the quizzes while they're available, because I do not allow makeups of the quizzes. And then 3 other additional written assignments. So you have the module homework assignments, you got the opening week discussion question, you have the 3 quizzes, and then you'll see in the syllabus that you're going to do an agency review assignment, you're going to review a movie for me, and you're going to do a final exam project. All of those dates are in the syllabus. I will release those assignments as we kind of get a little bit closer. Your first assignment, the agency review, your first kind of outside the module homework assignments, the agency review assignment, I'll have posted for you here very, very quickly, and you can begin working on that. And so again, many of you are familiar with how online classes work. And so I just want to give you a heads up to make sure that you're looking at the syllabus to keep up with the dates and the assignments. Everything that we do in the class, obviously, is centered on exceptional people with special needs, handicaps, disabilities, all that kind of thing. One of my hopes, this happens occasionally in this class, one of my hopes always whenever I teach this class is I hope maybe there's someone in the class who at the end of the class, you may say, you know what, I hadn't thought before about working with people with vision impairments. I never thought before about working with people with developmental disabilities like autism, learning disabilities. And so whenever I took that exceptional person class, that kind of is what motivated me that, hey, maybe this is the population in the field that maybe I'm fit for, that I want to work with. That happens occasionally in this class. I hope it happens this semester for sure. So last thing I want to kind of highlight for you is just the textbook. So one of the things I mentioned before is you're going to do 10 different module homework assignments. Most of the questions on the homework assignments come out of my lecture notes and the video, but I always have a few questions with almost every single module out of our textbook. So our textbook is this book that looks just like this. It's a book that I would encourage you, if you can, to buy the ebook. The electronic version is much cheaper of this book. This is a great textbook, as is the case in many of our classes. I try to find in my classes textbooks that I think are just really, really great complements. And in my online classes, I always use a textbook, and this is a very, very good one. It's got so much good information in it. Now, I must give you this heads up. My lecture and this class is really about the entire population of exceptional people from birth to adulthood. So it's not just about kids. The textbook kind of focuses more on kids. Now, many of you are interested in children and adolescents. So the textbook kind of focuses primarily on special needs kids and teenagers. There is a lot of information that kind of applies to adults. So the course really is about adults and kids. Just a little heads up that the textbook kind of takes more of a child and adolescence kind of focus. But every single homework assignment, I'm going to pull out some questions out of the book that I want to make sure you go into the textbook and read and find the information and find the answer to. Because there's no way in a class, any class, that we can cover all of the information that's important and relevant. And so I always use the textbook in my online classes to kind of highlight something that we've already talked about to reinforce it, or to get you thinking about and reading about maybe something that we didn't have time to talk about in class. So you'll need the textbook. You won't need it for the first homework, the first couple of module homework assignments. So it gives you a few weeks to kind of get the book, but go ahead and make arrangements to get the book. Like I said, I would encourage you to buy the e-version if you can, because you'll need it for the majority of the module homework assignments. It's got so much great information in it. So that's overview of the syllabus, overview of the class, my introduction to you. Hope that you are ready for a great semester. On the front page of the syllabus is my contact information, my phone number, my email address. Of course, you can also email me here inside the classroom. However you need to get in contact with me, I'm available to hear from you, to listen to you, to help you in any way that I can. But overall, I just want to say again, welcome aboard. Let me know if you need anything, and I will see you in the first module. See you then.